guys, I'm Sabina and today on the Cupcake Confession, we are taking inspiration from
Hello friend, chai pee lo.
and especially with monsoon setting in and the weather becoming absolutely beautifully cold and pleasant and rainy, you can make this cake with absolutely any biscuit that you haven't had. This is one of the most ambitious cakes that I have ever attempted. Buttercream here is chai flavored. Now I've not added just tea spices, but it actually tastes like you're drinking tea, and that's again from my good old friend Parle Milk Buttercream Frosting. You've learned how to make this in the past week. Is my take on this. Hello friends, Chai Biscuit, and here is how you make this amazing monsoon friendly biscuit and chai cake. First, we begin by preheating the oven to 150C or 320F, and then we're going to sift all our dry ingredients. So here I have my all-purpose flour, baking powder and caster sugar. To this I'm adding my ground biscuits. So I'm using Parle G, which I have ground to a very fine powder so that it passes through a sieve and there are no large chunks of the biscuit. When we put this into the stand mixer with a paddle attachment on a low speed, I'm just going to mix this through, and I'm also going to use my spatula to go around the sides and the bottom of the bowl. Then I'm going to add my light brown sugar, and to that then I'm going to start mixing it again with my paddle attachment. Now after mixing it, I'm going to add some of the salted softened butter and just mix it again on low speed until it combines well with the dry mix. I'm also going to use my spatula, go around the sides and bottom of the bowl, ensuring that all the ingredients mix well. Now I'm going to mix it again on low speed until the butter is well combined with all of the dry ingredients. Now it's time to add the eggs and the vanilla extract. Now on medium speed, I'm going to mix this for about a minute until all the ingredients are well combined. Just in order to make it more loose and pliable, I'm going to add a bit of the milk, mix it again. This will help the dough really come together. Now I'm going to add the rest of the milk, and then first I'll start off on a low speed so that I don't splash that milk all over the place. Once it's well combined, I'm going to use my spatula to go around the sides and bottom of the bowl so everything mixes well. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase the speed to high. So here I have on the stand mixer speed 8 and mix this for 2 minutes. But within that 2 minutes, after the first minute, I'm going to use my spatula, go around the sides and bottom of the bowl to mix all the ingredients together. Then finish it off with the last 1 minute. And once that's done, I have two 6-inch cake tins that I have greased and lined the bottoms with parchment paper. I am going to use an ice cream scoop so that the cake batter is distributed evenly between both the layers. Then I am also going to use my spatula and smooth out this batter so that the bake on these cakes is even and so that it rises consistently as well. So this will go into the oven for about 30 to 35 minutes. Use a skewer or a knife, insert it in the center of the cake. It should emerge clean and the cake itself should feel springy to the touch. Once that happens, you're going to let this cool at room temperature in its tins itself. You're not going to take it out for the first 30 minutes. Then you're going to invert this onto a wire rack to let it cool completely, preferably overnight. Now we're going to go on and make our chai frosting. So here I have some water. To that I'm going to add my spice mix or masala, chai masala. Once it starts to come to a bit of a boil, I'm going to add the tea leaves, black tea leaves, and I'm just going to cook this out for about a minute till it starts to boil slightly. Once that has happened, I'm going to add my cream and milk mix. That's heavy cream and some milk. Oops, I'm clumsy. So I'm going to mix this really well so that it starts to look like this. So basically this is your chai or masala chai. If you just pour it into your cups and add some sugar, that's your tea. But we're going to make frosting out of this. So once it's come to a boil for about 2 minutes, I'm going to strain this so I have the liquid, and I'm going to pour this liquid into a clean saucepan. With that, I'm going to add my sugar or my caster sugar, and then I'm going to use my whisk and really mix everything well. Once I feel that there is no sugar left and everything is dissolved, I'm going to add the flour, give it a good mix so that there are no lumps in this. Then I'm going to increase the heat to high and boil this for 3 minutes till it goes really thick and gloopy.
this is the element that's really going to thicken our buttercream. I'm going to pour this into a container and I'm going to use a parchment paper to cover the tops. This ensures that skin doesn't form at the surface. So I'm going to push it down, ensuring that the parchment touches the pudding, and I'm going to let this cool completely to room temperature. Once that has happened, in the bowl of a stand mixer, I'm going to use my softened salted butter, use a paddle attachment to really smooth that butter out. Then in 3 installments, I'm going to add my pudding mix. So I'm going to add the first installment, swap the paddle attachment for a whisk attachment and whisk it for about 30 seconds on medium speed. Then I'm going to use my spatula, scrape the sides and bottom of the bowl so that the butter mixes well with the pudding mix. Give it a good mix for another 30 seconds. Now add the second installment, then mix it again on medium for 30 seconds, then add the final installment. That way, we're not overwhelming the butter with too much of the pudding mix. Once you've added the last bit, you're going to keep whipping this at high speed or speed 8 on the stand mixer for about 2 to 2 minutes 30 seconds, and this is the fluffiest frosting ever. You're now going to start assembling the cake, but before you do that, we have to level the cake layers. So I'm taking the tops off, and each layer will also be divided into half, so I have 4 equal layers. Now I'm going to take my cake stand, I'm going to put a bit of that frosting just so the cake does not slide off. I'm going to put the first layer. On that, I'm going to generously pipe some of that masala chai buttercream frosting that we just made. I'm going to use my spatula to just smooth out this icing, and then I'm going to crumble some of that Parle G cookies. You can use any biscuit absolutely that you're using in your cake, or just any biscuit that you really like. Then to make sure that the cake layer sticks, I'm going to add some more frosting dollops on top of that, and then add the second layer. And similarly, I'm going to pipe the rest of stack the rest of the layers. So what those crushed biscuits in this layer cake do is that, do you remember that feeling, or do you know that feeling when you dip your cookie or your biscuit in tea, and the feeling that you get when you bite into it? That's exactly what happens. So when you add these crushed cookies onto the frosting, it kind of gets soggy after a while, and you get that same feeling like you're dipping your biscuit into your tea. Once you've stacked all the layers, you're going to pipe this frosting on top of the final layer, and then also use some of that frosting to go along the sides of the cake. Now here I'm using a naked frosting technique because I want to swirl some of that frosting on top to put some of that Parle G as well. But if you don't want to do that, what you can do is you can naked frost this cake or crumb coat this cake, put it into the fridge for a while, and then take it out and then put a second coating of the layer. I have skipped the second coating. I want the naked cake effect. I'm using my cake scraper to really smooth out the icing. And once I've done that, I'm also going to use my spatula to clean off the tops of the cake as well, so it's a smooth, even looking cake. Now I'm going to use a Wilton 1M tip to pipe some roughly swirly things on top of the cake. And once I have piped all of them, I'm also going to top them off with some Parle G cookie or Parle G biscuit. And let's get into this cake now, so you can see how fluffy the sponges are and how silky smooth that buttercream frosting is. You will be in love with this cake.
So that's it, guys. This was my Hello Friends Chai biscuit and chai cake. I really hope you give this a go. Not only is it really super fun to make, it's also in keeping with this crazy phase we are going through right now with this meme, and also with the weather, because it's really pleasant. When you make this recipe, don't forget to post this photo on Instagram. This is something I would really love to see. And when you do that, don't forget to tag this photo on Instagram with my hashtag the Cupcake Confession, and also tag me. My username is @thecupcakeconfession. If you like this recipe and want to see more of these kind of recipes, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And while you do that, also don't forget to hit this bell button, because once you do that, you will be notified every time I post a new recipe, which is every Tuesday and Thursday. So until I see you again next time, bye!